15 Going on 5 by jlhb. Read by Kiwi. Chapter 3. Part-Time Parents. Summary. A little more background before the real story starts. A very small trigger warning for some panic in this chapter, but it's pretty mild. Hope you enjoy. Shoto hated this. He hated this. Not only did his scar itch like hell, as it did whenever he was particularly stressed, but he couldn't scratch it because the skin was still tender. Because the scar was 6 months old and he was 5 years old, and he was small and scared and vulnerable, and against everything in his body telling him not to, he started to cry. Deku was the first to notice, scooting down the hospital bed so he could lay a tiny hand on Todoroki's back and rub soothing little circles between his shoulder blades. Aizawa was the next to notice, his ever-present gaze landing softly on Shoto's shaking shoulders. Unlike Deku, he made no attempt at physical comfort, instead choosing to continue with what he was saying before. The lull of his voice was more comforting than Shoto cared to admit. Obviously, we cannot allow you to continue the hero course while you 6 are so young, and Alliance dorms aren't viable option for housing. You all need adult supervision and care. Like hell we do, Bakugo shouted. Some things never change. Even if we're kids right now, we're just as capable as we were before. As much as I disagree with Bakugo's tone, his sentiment is sound. Mentally, we're 15. I understand not allowing us to participate in dangerous classes or training exercises, but why deprive us of our education and social life? Aizawa seemed to contemplate that for a minute before coming to a conclusion. It's not that UA doesn't trust you. We know that you are all young heroes and should be treated as such. However, we don't know the full extent of these changes. There could be mental and emotional changes that occur, and Nezu and I have decided that it will be best for you all to be under the care of a legal adult for the time being. Momo seemed to think for a moment before nodding slightly, still looking mildly put out. Bakugo just stayed silent, his usual scowl looking more like a pout than anything. We attempted to contact your parents. Shoto drew a sharp breath. He couldn't go back. Even if Yumi would take good care of him, he couldn't be back there. Aizawa's voice drew him from his spiral. However, Bakugo, Midoriya, your parents are all in America on vacation, as I'm sure you are aware. Todoroki felt Deku tense beside him. Yaoyorozu, your parents are in Tokyo on business. Momo just nodded sadly. Kirishima, Todoroki, and Shinso, we were unable to get in touch with a suitable legal guardian for any of you. Because of this, Nezu has arranged for you 6 to be wards of UA for the time being. You'll stay in the teachers' dorms with us, and All Might, Midnight, and myself will take care of you, though technically we'll all be your guardians for the time being. Bakugo and Midoriya, you will spend the school days with All Might. Izuku looked up like he was trying not to jump with joy, and Bakugo's scowl had lessened slightly, turning from murderous to mildly displeased. Yaoyorozu, you and Kirishima will spend your time with Midnight. Kirishima threw his arms around Momo, obviously pleased to be paired with her, while Momo smiled softly. It wasn't hard to tell that these pairs were made with previous relationships with teachers in mind, and Momo looked to Midnight like she had hung the stars in the sky. Shinso, Todoroki, you 2 will be with me. If any of you have any concerns about these placements, please let me know. Our goal is to make you feel comfortable and safe, and I don't want any of you to think you can't tell me if something's wrong, especially not now. Kirishima started pulling on his fingers like something was bothering him, and though Aizawa clearly took note, neither of them said anything. The students looked at each other, all of them trying to gauge their classmates' reactions before turning back to Aizawa and nodding. Deku spoke for the group. "Thank you, Mr. Aizawa, for the thought you all have put into this. We'll all try our best to be good and make this easy for you." Shoto cringed slightly at how Ida-like Deku's speech was, but he couldn't disagree with his sentiments. Their teachers were going above and beyond for them, and it was hard to feel anything other than grateful and a little bit surprised at how much they cared. "Good. Now I know that you all are probably tired, but we do have some errands that we need to run before we head back to UA. First and foremost, you all need clothes. The hospital gowns are not going to work, especially if you guys are stuck like this for more than a few days. If you'd prefer, I can get someone to come and take you back to UA, and we will pick out clothes for you. However, for sizing and color preferences, it would be easiest if you came along. The Aona Mall in Nishi Ward seems to have the kind of shops we need, so we'll be heading there on our way to UA." Once again, the group looked at each other before deciding, and after a silent conversation that Shoto only partially understood, Deku spoke. "We'll go, but Mr. Aizawa, how are we planning for paying for this?" "Don't worry about that, Midoriya. UA has some funds tucked away for unforeseen quirk incidents, which are used for situations like this." He made eye contact with each of his students individually. "I don't want any of you to worry about paying right now. UA has protocols for things like this. Now, is it alright if I bring in All Might and Midnight? We want to use this mall trip as a bit of a trial run for you six. If any of you are uncomfortable with the adult you've been paired with over the course of the day, let me know and we'll change it. There will be no hard feelings on the part of the faculty." That last sentence sounded a bit like a threat towards the teachers, and Aizawa's face had lost some of the softness that Shoto had previously noticed. But they all nodded in the moment between Aizawa leaving to retrieve the other teachers and the adults returning. The six made a pact. "If we're stuck like this forever," Kirishima started, but was cut off by a chorus of voices. "Don't talk like that." "I better not be." "I'm sure we'll be all right." "But if," he said, with more strength in his voice this time, "promise that we'll stay friends. We'll grow back up, we'll apply to UA again if we have to, and we'll do it together. Promise me?" Hesitantly, they all agreed. Come hell or high water, they were in this together. Hey guys, so it was brought to my attention that some of you guys cannot hear me, so I am speaking abnormally loud, and I am concerned for if anyone hears me, because our walls are like literal paper. So I'm working on that. Also, links in my description are broken. It's because I need to confirm my identity, and right now my phone bill hasn't been paid, so I need to confirm my phone number and everything along with that. My dog is whining. Hold up. Okay, anyway, so long story short, I am working on everything that was brought to my attention, but it may take a little bit of time. I am working on getting a mic, so we'll hope for that. But yeah, also, finals are coming up, so I might have some pre-recorded videos, I might not, but I'm also still working on the schedule for uploads. But because finals are coming up, that means summer is also coming up, as long as I can't speak today, but that also means my birthday's coming up, so happy birthday to me. My birthday's actually on the last day of school, which means finals on my birthday. Anywho, I feel like I've been talking for a bit too long. But yeah, I am working on all the problems brought to my attention. Thank you guys so much for support, by the way. It's been a week and I already have 100 subscribers, and that's so weird to me. That is so weird to me. Anywho, thank you so much. Also, I have a blooper or two, so I think I will be rolling that right now. Thank you for listening. On the part of the faculty. That last sentence sounded more my throat. If we're stuck like this forever, Kirishima started, but was cut off by a chorus of voices. Don't talk like that. I better not. Yeah, this is a child.